Okay, flipping the funnel or the flipping funnel, whatever you want to call it. Now, what I'm really going to talk about is sales, essentially, and how to build a business around a sales funnel. Now, most people have heard of sales funnels, I think. Yes, we've come across them before. And, you know, it's almost something like, oh, we've got a funnel, we do this with our funnel, etc. But really, it's particularly with smaller businesses, you have to be very effective with a sales funnel. Otherwise, of course, you can spend a lot of time, effort, and money that goes to waste. So, as I was thinking about this, and it was funny, I was talking to Angela Durant upstairs about hanging an idea onto something, putting a framework for it, and it was over the summer that I came up with Genius. So we'll come back to that in a minute. But first of all, can you tell me, if we thought a typical sales funnel looks like the top half there, what does it represent? Anybody? I'm going to have to start picking on people first. It's a process, exactly. What does this top of the funnel represent?
The entry point.
Number of people coming in.
Number of people. I'm so glad you said that because you're absolutely wrong. You are right. No, most people think of it exactly in that way. They think numbers. Big organizations, there's a guy, I remember, he used to work as a sales in a big organization. He said, you know, sales and marketing were all to do with this. Get the leads in. Get people in to the top of your funnel. Not having enough sales down here? Stick more in the top. It'll be great. They didn't take any attention to our process, or not much attention to it. I think if you're a small business, what that should represent is the value of people to your business. It's not the number, it's the value. So think about, let's take an example of a business. I am a cat podiatrist. Very niche business. If I throw a lot of dog owners in the top of that funnel, how much value are they to my business? Zilch. So this is where the G comes in. We call it get set or get ready, and this is where you decide on your niche. Your cats with foot problems, let's say. The people who have the problem that you can solve. And the top of the funnel is attracting those people. More importantly, it's rejecting people that aren't going to be your customers, because that's a waste of your effort. So how do we bring the right people into the top of the funnel?
Give them information of value.
Fantastic. Give them something. Doesn't even have to be information. Something of value. More importantly, something of value to that person with that particular problem. Again, let's go back to it. It's the cat's foot care book, e-book that you can give. Top tips to keep your cat's foot fit healthy. I'm going to stop with the cat now because it's going to get ridiculous. So you give up something, and then suddenly, you know, what they're doing, the thing of value you've got there, somebody's saying, oh, I'm interested. They're putting a hand up. You're in the funnel. You know, there's no point grabbing. Nicola here has been to a lot of networking groups. Do you know how people fill the funnels? They just go around, oh, no, card. Zoom, straight in there. All those people with dogs, sorry, I said I was going to stop that. They're all going in the top. You're sending them emails saying, do you want my service? When they don't really, you know, keep them as contacts, fantastic, but don't treat them in the same way as the top of the funnel. So, what's the value you add? Who's interested? How am I going to give something, free ideally, of value that's going to say, right, yes, me, I'm interested. So then we go to the top. Next step. We call this, engaging. So this is where we engage those people and say, right, so really though they answer, they fit into our persona, the ideal customer, are they really interested? So this is where education comes in. Give them information that's useful to them. So you're continuing this process of educating them about what you do, but also something that's useful for them. Think of it as swim lanes. If you think of your top of the funnel, the people, the leads, the people you think are possible prospects, how many split them into hot prospects, warm, cool? Warm, they're in the swim lane, the fast lane. Keep in contact with them regularly. How regularly? As regularly as you can. You can't be too regular. What you can be is too boring. Do something different, you know. The other thing, temptation is, email. I've got an automated email system. Bang, bang. Every day it goes out. And if you've got somebody who's a hot prospect, break up the pattern. So 3 emails, telephone call. 2 emails, letter, postcard, invite to an event. You're keeping that contact. There was a fantastic bit of research done, it must be 10 years ago, saying, 80% of sales are done on the 5th meaningful contact. Yet most salespeople don't do more than 2 or 3. Yeah. What everybody says, follow up, keep going. What they miss out there is that other little word. Do you know the word they miss out?
Relevant or
meaningful. Repeated sales letters again and again and again may work, but they're not going to be that effective. You need to break the pattern. Talk about something totally different, just so it grabs the attention. You could have then the slow lane. People you think they're ideal, but I'm not going to keep on contact quite as often. And here you can throw them an extra bit of content. So sign up now for this other ebook. If they ask for that one, then they go into this fast lane. Same with your cool contacts. These can be just send a newsletter. Keep in contact with them. And occasionally they'll show interest and you'll move them across. They say the fortune is in the follow-up, but it's got to be meaningful follow-up. So we've engaged, there's that process of nurturing, and we get the sale, hooray. That's it, I've achieved, I've got the sale, I've sold something to Gareth there at the back. What I can now do is ignore him. How many people, how many have had that experience? Somebody's chased you for months. You've parted cash, and then you don't hear from them. Just got a phone call from my insurance broker. When was the last time I heard from him? Oh, I remember, this time last year. So, I call this the integration. Think of what do you do the minute somebody sells or you buy from you. One of the fantastic phrases I like is the buyer remorse letter. Yeah. Send out a letter, an email. Letter's quite good at that stage if it's a it's a tidy size service. Send a letter saying, restating your value. Another sales letter almost. You've made the right decision, Sue. Doesn't that make you feel better? Does anybody else do that when you've spent a lot of money one night, you're lying awake thinking, I should have done that. So, buyer remorse letter. A welcome pack. This is what's going to happen next. This is my next process. This is who you need to contact if we've got a problem with delivery or whatever. These are the things you can expect from us. And what this does, if you think about it, it makes the customer feel better about you as a company. What that means is they're more likely to spend more money with you and they're more likely to stay with you. And these are the things, remember we said this funnel was all about value. So we've got a certain number of customers who sell, make the sale. What we now need to do is get the maximum value from those customers, and that's why this bit is expanding. So it's same number of customers, we're getting more value. Upgrade. Once we have the customer, how else can we help them? What was the phrase that increased McDonald's sales in America by 18%? Yeah, it wasn't. It was, do you want fries with that? Oh. Yeah. Supersize was not far behind, but do you want fries with that? 18% increase in their sales and whenever it came out. And then surprisingly now it's done all over the world. Now you don't have to be that blatant and obvious, but think, are there other products that your customers would take from you? Think about the Tesco value own brand finest. If you have 3 levels of service or 3 levels of product, when would they move up? They'd go from, maybe to start you out. A good conversion strategy here, good conversion to a sale is the downsell, the value brand. After a little while, you upgrade them to their own brand, upgrade them to finest. And it's all to do with having a process. You had a process up to this point, you keep it going, keep contact with the customer, and you're cross-selling, associate products, upselling, the premium product, and we've got the back-end sales, things that, are not literally to do with your service, but other things you could be offering them. And The front end is where you make your money. It's the back end you make your fortune. And that's where most, you see, a lot of companies do this. Then we move on to the real supercharging, I've called it, for want of another word, because I wanted to fit in genius, because everything else fitted perfectly. But really taking a business to the next level. Referrals. How many people get referrals to the business? How many people have a system to get referrals to the business? You know, one of the radical thoughts is asking your customers. Not radical, asking. I call it, you know, too posh, it's a referral pack. It's really something simple to say. These are the kinds of people I'm looking for, right? This is how we get our business. If you're really happy, why not pass it on, you know? The other one is joint ventures. If you look around this building, there will be several people whose customer lists are your target customers. How can you work with them as a joint venture? You offering their service, they get offering your customers service as well. That kind of joint venture can be fantastically profitable for both parties, and it has to be fantastically profitable for both parties. Anyway, I am bringing it together to give us a few minutes to do some questioning. All this, right the way through, there's two themes really. Number one is, remember what we said, it's all to do with keeping communication and providing something useful to the customer. What that does is keeps you in mind, but also positions you as an expert in your field. If you're giving useful information, when they think about who am I going to buy this from, there's only one person, there's only one company to look at. So that positioning is important all the way through. Also, each one of these phases multiplies upon the previous one. So if your lead generation, if you're top of the funnel is fantastic and you haven't paid attention to the rest of it, you're just leaving money on the table. And I take you back to the British cycling, Dave Brailsford. What did he do? He called it the aggregation of marginal gains. The small things you do at each point and they bring a big result at the end. Dave Brailsford, not such a good role model now apparently, but innocent until proven guilty, we'll leave it at that. You know, so that's the main thing I think, the takeaway message is the whole thing about genius, the whole thing about this is to get every bit of that business, every bit of that process a little bit better. It doesn't have to be fantastic, that little bit better, and has a big impact on the value of your business. And I'll leave it there. Thank you very much.